Good day, sir. Around a year ago, ChatGPT was making waves and I ignored it. But boredom does fantastic things to people, and as I sat my rump on the train one day, I decided to give it a shot. We started talking, things got fluid. I started asking the fella coding questions, and boy oh boy did he blow my mind. Hours of coding shrunk into something so readable, and like every game developer ever, I had an idea. Let's ditch the project I'm working on and start a new one. Almost. I just wanted a proof of concept that Mr. GPT could help me work on my own games. And I want content. Let's start. The game we are making today is a physics movement game where your mode of transport is rocket explosions and your one true desire is an objective. Sprinkle some cannons around the map and bam, I have a game. Meet Dave. He's our character and test subject. I asked ChatGPT to make a rocket launcher script for him and a separate script for controlling fired rockets. I would find out later in testing that these did not work straight away, and it was my fault. The rocket launcher script needed to find the mouse's location in the world along the Z and Y axis, and fire one of two rocket types, depending on the mouse button clicked. Either a bouncy knockback rocket or a dangerous rocket. Then I got to testing the code. Initially, I forgot to assign a variable, and secondly, well, I don't know what went wrong. After 2 or 3 hours of debugging the rocket launcher code, I gave up and asked ChatGPT to rewrite the rocket launcher script. And we had to tweak the code somewhat, but it all worked out. Using a raycast, we shoot a line onto the screen to get the Z and Y coordinates, and aim the rocket launcher in that direction. I don't want to admit this, but thinking back, the mistake was with me. So, in the final calculations, I won't include the time I wasted. This experiment is about ChatGPT after all. And this incident really let reality sink in. AI are going to turn us into entertainment-seeking monkeys, and there's nothing we can do about it. But most of the Western world already uses TikTok, so there's not much to be done. You'll never cook KFC chicken better than me! And this brings the end of the first day of game dev. I was yet to assemble the game, but the main mechanics were functional and we had our Dave. I could pretend to say good morning to you if you like, but this is a script, so whatever makes you feel good. But I'm not a prostitute, I promise. I kicked off by asking ChatGPT to edit the rocket script. Make a splash area around where the rocket hit, deal damage to the player and provide knockback depending on what rocket we are using. He understood the assignment and the code worked wonderfully. It did everything I asked, using rigid bodies and calculating damage and force based on the distance from the explosion. He even added an object management script for dealing with health that I wasn't expecting. I was going to add that later. You go above and beyond, little buddy. Though I had an issue where the player was just being sent sideways. I need the explosions to launch the player upwards as well, so he added a little jump script that happens when the player fires a rocket. For the nerds, he attempted to use a raycast to check if we are touching the ground before we jump. I told him this wasn't functioning well, and so he upgraded from using a raycast to using a spherecast, just like Papa Brackies used to make. GPT wrote a little camera follow script, and for some reason, when I tried to have him write a win and loss condition, he didn't understand, and he decided that whenever the player won, or whenever the player died, the player should die, and the map should restart. I think this came down to miscommunication, and not a desire for the end of humanity. I learned how to make a pretty explosion, thank you Brackies. And we've hit the final stretch of progress. I forgot to mention, before Sunday I made a map and I made screens for the win and loss condition. On Sunday morning I modelled a cannon and ChatGPT programmed the cannon. I had some issues with rocket collisions inside of Unity and I adjusted the code so that the rockets wouldn't collide with their own cannon, but I got it done. Here is the final product. For now. ChatGPT has proved himself. I spent about 10 hours on this, and I don't have a metric to judge by, but I find that impressive. He didn't prove that just anyone can make a game straight away. I still used a lot of my own knowledge for proofing the code, and I needed a lot of base knowledge for instructing him. But, as a teacher, an assistant, and a time saver, he has been really valuable. I'm going to be using him from now on, and I think a lot of others will too. Thank you for watching.